Hi, I'm Meredith Foulke, a marketing intelligence consultant at Etumos, and I'm here to show you today how to create a custom report in Google Analytics 4 for hand raisers. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you're seeing on my screen right now is the GA4 demo account for the Google Merch Shop. So anybody can access this account if you type it into Google and search for it. There's also a link in the article above. So what we're going to do is actually use their new set of features to be able to create a custom report. So we're going to start by navigating to the Explorer right here. Once you open this up in the demo account, you'll see a variety of template options that they have set for you. And you'll also see everyone else who has the demo account and some of the reports that they've created as well. So what we're going to start out by doing is actually creating a blank template to start to get everyone familiar with some of the options that are had in the GA4 account. And so once you navigate to the blank template, you're going to see on the left-hand side a variety of options that you can fill in the segments. So the segments is the way that you're going to be able to filter or splice and dice your data. Your dimensions, so the qualitative information that you're creating, there are a set of custom dimensions that you create in GA4 and out of the box ones that are already provided. And then any of the metrics, similarly to the dimensions, these are ones that you can have out of the box that come with GA4, and you can also create your own custom metrics in your GA4 admin section. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start by identifying our segments so that we can be able to filter down the data that we're actually viewing in the data set. So we had talked about this in the article above, is that in order to be able to identify those hand raisers, you need to have created a custom event or conversion. So in this case, the hand raisers we're going to think of as a conversion because that's some sort of action that they're taking on your site that we want them to take. And in this case, the hand raiser would be someone that filled out a demo form on your site. So with the GA4 demo account, you're not able to create your own custom events and conversion. So what we're going to do is actually search for one of the events that they already have and use that as our idea of a hand raiser. So in this case, we're going to look for the event that aligned with our purchase, which is a conversion on their site. So we're just going to search for purchase here and consider that our demo hand raiser request that's happening. So what this is doing is this is including all of the times that we find someone that's a purchase. You'll also see a summary of the data that's been collected for the time period that you have identified over here, which we'll talk about in a second. So what this is showing you is that of the events that GA4 has collected from April 11th to May 10th, we're seeing about 1.2 thousand purchase events happening. So it's really great to see this and understand what data you're going to be starting with from the start. So we're also going to rename this as purchase so that if you were to develop this report down the road, you also know what segments you're developing, and you can create custom criteria here. You have logic that you can change, add in new events that if you wanted to look at multiple conversions at one period of time, or if you had different events and conversions for the different forms that you had and you wanted to be able to compare them, you have that ability here. I'm going to delete that, and we're just going to stick with this criteria right now, just looking for a segment for when someone purchased the product. So we are going to save and apply. And what you'll see is you'll see your segment built over here now. Now we want to pull in our dimensions. So this is going to show how the data is being displayed on your x-axis. So with this report that we're trying to build, we want to show the hand raisers that have happened over a particular period of time. So we're going to start by building a line graph, and the dimensions that we're wanting to see and have our x-axis grouped by is going to be, in this case, year over year. But we want to identify the granularity here. So the dimensions are going to be the way that things are grouped by. So what we're going to do is we want to click open the dimensions and build our new one. You have the ability to also search for particular dimensions, but in this case, we're going to look at time, and we're going to pull in year, week, month, and day for all the different granularity points. We're going to import those, and what you're going to see is all of your dimensions here. So again, the dimension is the way that your data is going to be grouped and the way that your legend will display the data. So if you were to pull in a year dimension, it's going to, the legend is going to highlight 1 year in one color and then another year in another color. If you were to pull in the week dimension, it's going to group like weeks in similar colors and so forth. So the final thing that we want to do is pull in our metrics, and this is going to determine what the y-axis looks like. So the x-axis is going to be the time period, and then for the y-axis, what we're looking for is hand raisers that have occurred over a particular period of time. So what we actually want to do is press the plus there, and then we're going to search for any of the counts that we're interested. So in this case, we're going to pull in the event, and we're going to pull in conversions because we know that this particular event, the purchase, is a conversion. So we're going to pull in the conversion count. If you wanted to look at event count per user or events per session, you have some of those options as well. So I would definitely recommend getting familiar with what metrics are out of the box and getting familiar with how to create custom metrics as well to be able to splice and dice your data. So we're going to pull this in, and again, you'll see it populate right here. And now we're going to start actually building out our chart. So what date range are we wanting to compare is going to be the first thing. So if we were looking at year over year, we would want to pull in data from last year. In the demo account, you'll see that the data stops prior to March. So I'm just going to pull in March from 2022 to today's date that I'm showing this video of May 10th, 2023. So what this is going to do is saying we want to pull in all of the data from this period of time. Then I'm going to tell GA4 that I actually want to generate a line graph because we're going to show changes and trends over a period of time. So I want to show a line graph. We already have the filtering that we want. So if you wanted to compare multiple segments, multiple conversions over a period of time, you could pull that in. What that will do is it will show different lines for each of the different segments that you have listed. In this case, we're just wanting to filter down to just the purchases that have happened. So we'll just keep that in there. The granularity is going to tell you how many data points are going to show up on your x-axis. So in this case, I want to just show it by week, day. You would have a lot of points. You would have over 365 data points on the graph. So what this is going to do is it's going to group the data together for that particular week. So you have a little less number of points that are going to be showing up on your line graph. But again, if you wanted additional granularity, you can change that here. Then the breakdown, we're going to break it down by year. So what this means is that it's going to show a different color line based off of the year that the data is being displayed in. And then finally, we actually want to drop in our conversion. So this is going to start actually displaying the data because it's building that y-axis. So once this loads, what you're going to see is your first view of the chart. So this is going to show you in the darker blue, it's showing you all of the conversions that we've generated for purchases in the year 2022, and the granularity is by week. And then in the light blue, it's all of the purchases that have happened in 2023, again, grouped by week. The anomaly detection is some feature that GA4 has that's going to tell you if there's changes. It'll tell you the average. It will show you kind of where the data set normally is living. For this use case and today's visual, we're just going to turn off that anomaly detection so that it's not distracting from the data that we're trying to actually pull and focus on. If we were to group this by day, I'll just show you that the number of data points being displayed on the graph is going to change. So you can see that we have a lot more variation in the data set. So we're going to keep it by week, and it's going to sum all of the conversions that have been collected during that particular week. So what you can see here is a chart that is going to be showing you the conversions that your team has collected for purchases over the time period specified here. And then the coloring is based off of the year that those touch points were collected. And that is a first example of how to build a custom hand raiser report in GA4.